The head of a lucrative family empire.
I had to figure out a life that you don't depend on anyone else.
Kris Jenner's journey and the events that changed it all.
There was a big secret that Bruce was holding.
Tonight, all on the next Objectified.
Coverage of the Trump-Putin summit continues on Fox News Channel today and Monday. And tomorrow, please tune in for my exclusive interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin just after his summit with President Trump. We'll discuss what happened behind closed doors here in Helsinki. That's tomorrow on Fox News Channel. And that's it for today. Have a great week. And we'll see you next Fox News Sunday.
The objects people choose to keep in their home define who they are. This is Objectified, Kris Jenner.
This is what Kylie Jenner wore home from the hospital the day she was born.
I'm Harvey Levin. This is the story of arguably one of the most famous moms on the planet who became the architect of one of the most visible and lucrative empires in entertainment. As a little girl, Kris dreamed of being a housewife and mom, but that fairy tale life with Robert Kardashian was short-lived. When he filed for divorce, that was pretty devastating for you.
Oh, yeah. I went to the market one day and my credit card didn't work, and I'm like, I can't even buy a tomato.
Soon, a new man would catch her eye, Bruce Jenner, an American hero, and together they would achieve fame and fortune. But not everything was picture perfect.
You're going to make me psychotic.
You already are psychotic.
There was obviously a big secret that Bruce was holding. Caitlyn now says, from the beginning, you knew. A newly single Kris navigated her entire family to unimaginable triumphs. 700 million followers who were influenced by you. Have you ever thought of using that to push a political agenda? Kris Jenner, the matriarch of the most famous family on the planet, who has taken every obstacle thrown her way and come out on top. Thank you so much for having me here. Oh my God, it's so good seeing you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm excited about the show.
I'm excited about talking to you.
Yeah?
Even though I know you.
I know you know way too much about me.
But here's what I want to do today.
Okay.
I want to trace your life. We're going to use objects that you've kept and find those building blocks along the way that turned you into Kris Jenner.
Well, I'm 62 years old, so this might take hours.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Okay, let's go.
So tell me what this is.
That's Annabelle.
Okay, hi, Annabelle.
That is my baby, Annabelle. My mom and my dad gave this to me when I went into the hospital when I was 7, and I had an operation on my leg because I had a bone tumor.
I know about that.
I know you do, because you read everything, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You're very well prepared. But this is what I got, and this got me through my little surgery.
And she, in a way, we're going to get into the bone tumor, but in a way, she symbolizes overcoming obstacles.
I guess that's why I keep her handy and always with me, because she's very comforting.
I'm going to take you back to La Jolla.
Okay.
Right, it was kind of a middle-class upbringing?
Uh-huh. Yes. Was born and raised in San Diego, and my parents got divorced when I was 7, and I was really close to my grandparents. So eventually my mom moved in across the street from my grandparents. Sound familiar?
Yes.
And so my grandmother and my grandfather and my mom raised me and my sister, Karen, and we never felt like we were missing one thing. We had a lot of love, and we had everything we ever wanted, and, you know, it was a great childhood.
Your mom was a big influence on you.
Yes.
And it's funny because the more I know about your mom, the more I see you are your mother's daughter.
She's great. She's the best. She spends a lot of time up here now, so that makes me happy.
Tell me about her as your role model growing up.
Well, I think my mom and my grandmother were very much alike because they were workaholics. They loved to work, they loved business, they loved fashion. So they kind of, taught me, and then I taught my kids, I guess, that, it's the way you present yourself to the world. It was very important to my mom, to get up in the morning and, put on her you know, Sunday best, and my grandmother would say, I can't go anywhere until I put my face on.
She was a fashionista.
So,
your
yeah.
mom.
And to this day, if I see my mom and she's not dressed to the nines, it would be like, are you okay? You know, are you feeling all right? But my grandmother had a candle store in La Jolla. And when I was about 12 or 13, instead of going to the beach in the summer with all my friends, in order to get to the beach, I had to go to the candle store and work for a little while, helping her wrap gifts and restocking merchandise, and she really taught me the ropes. I know everything you could possibly want to know about a candle.
And donuts, by the way.
And donuts.
You worked in a donut store.
Yeah, I did. Well, when I worked in the donut store, my job was scraping the glaze off of the floor with a glaze scraper.
Wow, you started at the bottom,
stool.
didn't you?
I did. I scraped glaze, and I was so proud of that job because I was saving, at that time I was saving for a bicycle, and then I was saving for a car one day. You know, I had these dreams, and I would set goals for myself at 13.
You have a mother who is a fashionista, who is a working mom, who has a strong work ethic.
Yes.
And all of these things are not only embodied in you as an adult, but you pass them on to your children. That's a pretty straight line there.
You go out there and you get it. You design it. And you start doing your homework and your due diligence. You just have to put your mind to it. That's all.
You said something interesting once. Girls my age were thinking about the prom. I was thinking, the prom. I want to get married and have 6 kids.
True. So true. When I was 16, all I wanted to do was have 6 kids. Isn't that crazy?
Well, it's crazy to me because I'm hearing 2 different Kris Jenners. I'm hearing a Kris Jenner who wants nothing more than to get married and have 6 kids. And then I'm hearing about a Kris Jenner who is interested in business, work ethic, you know, going into the candle store, doing a good job.
And I'm here to say you can do both. You know, and that's the message that I gave my children and my girls when they were growing up.
I want to get back to
Annabelle?
Annabelle.
Okay.
So when you were young, you had a bone tumor, and my understanding is there was a chance you were going to lose a leg.
That's what they told my mom. The technology in those days was they couldn't tell if it was cancerous or not until they got in there, and if it was, they were going to have to amputate. When I woke up, everyone was so happy. I'm like, why are they so happy?
Right, because they knew.
Yeah. I didn't really understand at the time the impact of what was going on around me and how lucky I was to have survived that. And I think that it gave me something to be grateful for years later. Yeah.
Tell me what's in your hand.
This is a necklace that I had when I was 17 years old. And this is like so goofy. It says, oh,
We'll say, oh,
and I
crap.
thought,
For the,
oh, crap. Yeah, oh, crap. So this was something that I found in a little store when I was shopping with my girlfriends, and I thought it was so edgy, and I was a little bit of a rebel for a minute and thought it would be just cool.
You were a rebel?
Well, I guess, because I bought this, and I actually wore it. That's like the worst thing. I was like a wild teenager. So I was wearing this necklace when I met Robert Kardashian.
Really?
And I was 17 years old. He came up to me looking like Tony Orlando, you know, with high platform shoes.
I actually see
the whole
that.
night.
No, I actually see that.
No, the whole night. And he had a suit on, and he was at the racetrack with his dad and his brother, and he came up and, you know, had some smooth line. 1975, I think. Over the period of a couple of months of talking to him on the phone, we kind of had a friendship, and it was really cool. And I thought, I like this guy. But I had a boyfriend.
I think you had a fiance.
Yeah, well, kind of, sort of. Yeah.
He was a golfer, right?
Yes.
So you're going out with this golfer, kind of sort of his fiance. Yeah. And then you start dating Robert.
Yeah, well, yeah. Robert was irresistible.
Robert was a born-again Christian.
Uh-huh.
That created issues, didn't it?
With who?
With you. With premarital sex, with...
Oh, well, you know what? That kind of went back and forth. It was really interesting. Like, you know, for a couple months, that would be something that just, naturally happened, and then a few months it would be, nah, we shouldn't be doing this, and so.
Did you actually have to leave the house because that became an issue at a point?
I did for about, I don't know, just a couple months. I married Robert when I was 22 years old, and I got pregnant on my honeymoon. And believe me, all the Armenian ladies were counting. They were like, and thank God I had Courtney 9 months, 2 weeks, and 2 days, I think, to the day that, I was married.
Wow.
I just think that it was meant to be. I had the happiest life you could have dreamt about. But when you're in something, sometimes people think the grass is always greener. And that was like what I think I went through at some point. When I look back on it now, probably one of my biggest regrets in my life is that marriage fell apart. You do stupid things when you're young and, not experienced with relationships. And that's not an excuse. It's just to say that just young and dumb.
And you had an affair with a soccer player, and
I did, which wasn't nothing I'm proud of. It's something that happened that I think I have to live my life and feeling really good about some of my choices. Did I love that choice? No, but I feel like it led me to another place where I then had Kendall and Kylie. So I always have to look back and go, that was, I guess, unfortunately, the way it was supposed to go.
When he filed for divorce, that was pretty devastating for you.
Yeah, because it made it real. Like, you think you're going to come through this period, I thought, and everything is going to be okay, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. So that was really hard for me.
And it was also hard in the money department.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have anything. I went to the market one day, and my, credit card didn't work. I had a market credit card, and I'm like, I can't even buy a tomato. I was like, I got to figure this out. So that's when I knew that I had to figure out a life that you don't depend on anyone else. That gave me great strength.
Do you think, looking back, the reality show in some way sunk the marriage?
No. No.
There was obviously a big secret that Bruce was holding. Caitlyn now says, from the beginning, you knew. What's this?
I love this. So this is what Kylie Jenner wore home from the hospital the day she was born.
Oh.
And it's a little gown, so it's a whole set. So I love these. I used to get these for all my kids when they came home from the hospital. And I can't even believe don't want to tell you how many times that is, but I should have my own wing there by now, like the Kris Jenner maternity wing. But this is a little blanket, and then the bonnet and the cap, whichever, you get a choice, and the little gown.
Oh my God.
Isn't that sweet?
That's Kylie's gown?
This is Kylie, and Kylie, I gave all of her baby stuff to her when she got pregnant with Stormy.
And Stormy wears this?
And Stormy wore it home from the hospital.
Oh, God.
To bring on, to carry on the tradition.
Okay, so you're 35 years old.
Yep.
You are divorced and single again. Mm-hmm. And you swear off men.
Uh-huh, I did. I did. And I swore off men, and 2 weeks later, Candace Garvey and her husband Steve called and said, have we got a guy for you? And met Bruce Jenner.
2 weeks later.
Yeah, 2 weeks after I said I'm never going out with another guy again. I'm done with men.
So what was it that made Bruce swear you back on men?
Well, we went out on a date, and we went to the Ivy at the Shore with Candace and Steve and had a great dinner and just clicked and ended up 5 months later getting married. How
did your kids react when you get divorced, you suddenly meet this guy, and you are a unit?
Well, Courtney wore black for a year in protest.
Really?
Yeah, wouldn't talk to him. So she was definitely daddy's girl.
Was Kim?
Kim was very respectful and kind, and yeah, but he eventually won them over.
You really became a businesswoman when you and Bruce got married.
Well, we got married, and I really didn't have anything, and I think he had $200 in the bank. So you learn really quickly that with 4 kids and you have to feed everybody, and everybody needs a place to live, that you're going to figure it out. I went to a motivational speech that he did for the Boy Scouts of America.
I firmly believe that all of us, every person on this earth, has a champion that lives down deep inside of him, that can come up with tremendous things to overcome tremendous obstacles, whether in the business world or in the personal life. Why do I believe that? I believe it because I've seen it in my life.
And it was fantastic. Really good. And I said, you should be on like a tour. You need to be doing this everywhere. And he goes, well, I've done this, for years. But he was doing like 2 a year at that point, or whatever it was, not a lot. We made press kits. I had a Xerox machine going at 90 miles an hour in my office and put together press kits and sent out thousands. We mailed thousands of kits to every major company in America about Bruce's speaking abilities, and, we made a tape.
I'm so interested in this because I can't tell whether the skills of business were developed because you thought, I want to be a businesswoman, or whether this was sheer survival.
I was both. I think at first it was survival. I had to adjust my parenting skills had to adjust, because now my time had to be allocated much differently. So when I suddenly switched from one thing to another, it was an adjustment.
But you liked it.
Loved it. Loved it. Every night when I went to bed and I put my head on the pillow, I felt so satisfied. Once again, I was like, this is amazing.
So you had great kids, a bunch of them.
A bunch.
And then you decided to have more.
I did.
How come?
I just, I still had that dream of 6 kids.
And that was a dream as a child?
16 years old.
You wanted 6?
Yeah. Yeah, I really wanted more babies.
Do you think, looking back, the reality show in some way sunk the marriage?
You are really like a teenager.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Kris lately is getting a little bit out of hand. She lashes out on the people that love her the most.
I am going to lose my You're going to make me psychotic.
You already are psychotic.
I'm leaving right now.
No. No, not at all. I don't think it had anything to do with the marriage. I think that doing the reality show was probably the best thing that we ever did. I think the reality show probably gave all of us sanity.
There was obviously a big secret that Bruce was holding. Caitlyn now says, from the beginning, you knew.
I promised my kids that this is something that I'm not speaking on anymore. What I will say is, you just have to be logical and think about it. You're not going to, build a life with somebody and spend 25 years being married if at the end of the day, somebody wants something completely, the opposite that you signed up for. So, I just want at this point for, everyone to be very happy.
You are their manager, and you get a cut of what they make as a manager.
I do.
Have you ever thought about what might happen if one of them says, Mom, you're fired? What are these?
Well, on November 30th, 2015, Kylie launched her first 3 lip kits called Candy K, Dolce K, and True Brown, and this started her empire.
Yeah.
She had a plan for Kylie Cosmetics when she was 17 and said, okay, Mom, I want you to sit down. I finally figured out what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And she said, it's going to be makeup. I want to do my own makeup, and I want to do a lip kit, and this is what I want to do, and these are the 3 colors. She had meetings. She knew exactly who she wanted and what she wanted and executed it, and I think it was, 10 minutes later, her product was sold out.
Now it's sold out.
In less than 30 minutes.
That was it. Yeah. That is really, it makes me happy.
Kylie, I think you've just launched an empire.
I want to get into how you built this empire. When'd you get the TV bug?
Well, one of my best friends is Kathy Lee Gifford, and Kathy Lee and I go back 40 years. And she's the godmother, her and Frank Gifford, who passed away, are the godparents of Kendall and Kylie. And for years, I'm going back to probably Robert Kardashian days. She used to say, you guys should have a TV show. This is also, you know, you're so funny and you know everybody and nobody would believe what goes on around here. A friend of mine, Dina Katz, was over at the house having dinner, and she said, you know, Ryan Seacrest is looking for a producing partner and a show to do. I'd like you to go talk to him. And I said, great. So I had a meeting with Ryan, and he loved the idea and took it to E, and they loved it. And I think 30 days later, we were filming.
Wow.
So it was really a whirlwind.
I'm Kris Jenner.
Because I'm the mom.
I'm the mom and Kim's manager.
Okay, Kim, it's your world. I just live in it.
Say what you want, but I know what's best for my kids.
Where did you learn the ropes of negotiation? Because that is a skill that eludes lawyers and even, you know, people in business day to day. How did you develop that?
I think I had the opportunity to grow up and be very close to and have intimate access to people like Terry Simmel and especially Irving Azoff and just different people over the years in my life who were studio heads and managers. It was self-taught, but by osmosis. It was like being in meetings and at people's homes.
So this is you as a housewife just kind of soaking it in, watching these people.
When I didn't realize I was paying attention.
Right.
And I was so interested all the time with, you know, what was going on behind the scenes and at the meetings and how life worked and who was doing what.
Did people underestimate you as a business person when you started doing this?
Probably. I was very unsteady on my feet for a while trying to figure it out. But when I became more comfortable in my own shoes and started to have a little bit of success, then I realized, oh, this is amazing. Like I can do this. And then once I figured it out and got my confidence and self-taught myself, self-taught business management, management of a client who happened to be my kids. So that's like, trust me, that's not sometimes the greatest position because, you know, you do something wrong and then you get yelled at.
Right, well, and you're still their parent no matter what happens in business.
Right. So it's a little tricky. It's a tightrope.
Mom, it's your job.
I'm seeing this
as my manager.
No, I'm not PR.
Well,
No, calm down. This is the first
No,
I'm
it's
seeing
not.
of these
It's not the first
questions.
time One day, Mom, I'm gonna
Who is it coming from?
someone new to run my and I tell you this all the time, and you never change.
I'm not going to read this to you, but these are the businesses that your family is involved in right now, businesses you've created. There are so many of them. I mean, television shows, cosmetics, clothing lines, all this stuff. At a point, is it dangerous to have a business with a family where you lose kind of the core of, you know, this is my family versus these are my business partners?
No, you don't. Not in my case. I've never felt so excited about doing things with my family, and then on the flip side, never felt so close to my family.
You are their manager, and you get a cut of what they make as a manager.
I do.
Have you ever thought about what might happen if one of them says, Mom, you're fired?
I have. That's actually happened in the very beginning. I probably got fired a few times, you know, but for a day.
But what
Until
if
Kim started doing it on her own and went, never mind, I love you.
Hi, you've reached the office of Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian's former manager. If you'd like to get a hold of my ungrateful daughter, you can call her on her personal and private cell phone.
But what if it really happens? What if one of them says, look, I've got to do this on my own, or you have a conflict and one of them does this because it happens in business. And then you have to maintain the relationship of parent and child.
First of all, if that happens, and who knows, maybe someday it will, but if that happens, I think that I am very level-headed, and I'm a businesswoman, and they've got to do what's best for them.
I'm obsessed with politics, and I'm thinking 700 million followers who are influenced by you. Have you ever thought of using that to push a political agenda? Because you could probably get people elected and voted out of office if you really put your mind to it.
I think we certainly could make a difference in other areas, but right now my focus is on philanthropy for the kids and teaching them how to give back.
Do we take that as a maybe?
Okay.
I'm not going to ask you about your kids because everybody knows about your kids. Your kids are famous. So I'm going to ask you questions
Okay.
that I don't know about. Who are you the tightest with?
It depends on the day.
Overall.
Overall.
Fox News Channel on Sirius XM. Your favorite shows on Channel 114. Plus, every story, every 15 minutes. Fox News headlines 24/7 at Channel 115.
Okay, tell me about the trinkets.
I have hundreds of these, by the way. These are little things. This is Courtney made that. Chloe made this. These are my little gifts that I got that my kids have made me over the years, like for Mother's Day and for, holidays and for my birthday at school. That says, "Dear Mom, I love you and hope you have a good Mother's Day. Love, Kim." In 1991.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cute?
I think that so many people, and I'm part of this, that so many people think, my God, the Kardashians are a business now. But looking beyond the business, I can't think of a family in Hollywood that I know of that is as tight and loving as yours. It's an amazing family.
I'm really blessed. So lucky and so much love. We're all so supportive of one another. We help each other, through thick and thin. There's good days and bad days, and we're always there to build each other up. And I think that's what you have to do.
Dear Lord Jesus, thank you for this food that we have in front of us, our safety and our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
You are a great prayer giver.
She's very monotone with Jesus.
I'm not going to ask you about your kids because everybody knows about your kids. Your kids are famous. So I'm going to ask you questions that I don't know about.
Okay.
And I know a lot about your kids.
Okay, yeah, you do.
The most ambitious of all of them.
Kim.
Why?
I think Kim, well, these days it's probably Kim and Kylie. But Kim is definitely an entrepreneur at heart. She's always got a new idea and a new business she wants to create and is very excited about life. My day starts at 4 a.m. and the first person I'm going to hear from is Kim.
Best business sense.
Best business sense of the kids?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. I don't know. Maybe Kylie.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, I think Kylie.
She's pretty amazing.
She really surprised me.
Who enjoys the spotlight the most?
The spotlight. Not Kendall, not Kylie. Courtney and Chloe really, probably Kim. Probably Kim. She enjoys it in a good way. I think a healthy way. She knows, when she wants to talk about something, and she's very smart about it.
So far, I've guessed right on everyone.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. I feel like we're on a game show.
This may be problematic for you to answer. Who are you the tightest with?
It depends on the day.
Overall.
Overall, you're so smart. It's equally, like, right now it happens to be, I think, Chloe, because she just had a baby.
Right.
So I've been, communicating with her, like, 12 times a day.
Rob has had some issues over the years with weight and depression, and I'm wondering, because he's the sole male, does that play into this at all?
Well, I think he had the hardest time when his dad died. And I think that really had an effect on him. And then he's been through some ups and downs with relationships. And I think Rob first of all, he's doing great. And he's such a great kid. But he's very sensitive, and takes so much to heart.
I just want my baby to learn the type of, Armenian values that, Dad always kind of put on top.
To feel when this really becomes an empty nest. Because parents worry about that. But they've moved out, but they really haven't moved out, have they?
They never move out. They always come back. But here's the thing. I got this all figured out now. The secret sauce is grandchildren. Because now I have 9 grandchildren. So that's 6 kids, 9 grandchildren. That's a lot of human beings.
You've got them tethered to this house.
Yeah. They are not going anywhere. And that makes me really, really happy.